education.
Welcome to Aperture and Shutter Speed. It's noon on November 24th, and this is the photography radio show where you can learn and share your love for photography. I'm your host, Chelsea Williams, and also is the film enthusiast with me, Dick Schissler. Woo! And we are going to interview Reagan Atkinson from the Houston Camera Exchange today. But first, we're going to go over
Houston Camera Exchange. Is it Houston's last camera store? Is that what it is? The jingle, you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know.
You don't know what I'm talking about? I gotta look this up. You can keep talking.
So while he's looking that up, if you have any questions or comments during the show, you can comment on our Facebook page on Aperture and Shutter Speed on Facebook, or call 936-647-3776. And coming up, we had Kathy Adams Clark on the show a while back, and she's going to be talking at the Woodlands Camera Club on December 7th. So that's not too far away.
Oh, wow.
And I kind of want to go listen to that. So anybody else out there, it's going to be on December 7th, 7 to 9 p.m., and she's going to be talking about the jaguars and birds. And
so basically things you will never be able to take pictures of? I love those kind of topics.
No, I'm going to take pictures of these things. I'm just like hearing about it now. So if you have any questions about that, I think it's thewoodlandscameraclub.com.org. I'm terrible at this, but you can Google it. So that's the main thing.
.org.
.org, okay. That's the main thing I'm excited about that's coming up, is I want to go to that and listen to Kathy talk.
When is that event?
It's December 7th.
Cool. Okay. Does it cost money, right, to join the club and to go to these events?
Didn't they say it was like $5 or $25? Something really ridiculously cheap to join the club. And I think it's free to go to just the lectures and stuff.
More information can be found on woodlandscameraclub.org.
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you. So other than that, did you figure out the jingle?
I'm afraid to play it because there's a lot of commercials. They had different ones. I'm just saying. I just remember it's like Houston Camera Exchange, Houston's last camera store. I think that's what it is. I don't know if they really are Houston's last camera store, but maybe they're just trying to say we're from Houston because it is called Houston's Camera Exchange. But yeah.
Also, I have to ask, what pictures have you been taking?
Talking about just the general to me?
In
You're
general.
talking to me? Okay, good.
You, people out there that want to comment on Facebook, anybody?
Actually, what I've been doing is I've been doing lighting because I'm going to be taking Christmas photos for friends over the weekend while it rains, of course. And one of the backups is I want to test out my new lighting system that I've been putting together, something that's inexpensive. And then it's a fun world to get into because you're trying to fit what your needs are, but then you're also trying to be flexible at the same time. So I'm not doing any flash lighting. I'm going to do consistent lighting just because I like to do videos too. So I don't want to just spend the money on buying flashes and then umbrellas. But if I want to do videos, I can't use those. So that's what I've been shooting, is different type of lighting for people, things like that. And then also what's funny is this one of my friend's wife asked me for help because she makes things for Etsy. Which is a website where you can make crafted goods.
Well, every girl knows this.
Okay,
so.
sorry. And she asked me a good question because she's like, you know what, I need some advice to know how to shoot pictures of my products. And there are some really cool little setups you can get for fairly cheap, depending on how big your product is. They even have boxes you can put your stuff in, and they have basically it's a cube, and it's transparent cube, so you can put lighting in different areas, different angles, and things like that. And I don't really know what she's trying to sell. So we're going to be going over that over the weekend. And it's going to be kind of cool seeing how much it costs to make pretty pictures for your goods. Because I would say that's about a third of your selling is how good the pictures look.
I think pictures,
especially on Etsy.
Pictures of products are huge in selling them because you can take one item in horrible lighting and it's going to look terrible and nobody's going to want to buy it. But if you just make your lighting better and clean up, your background where you're not showing stuff on the ground and stuff, it makes all the difference. And you could sell it for tremendously more. But
yeah, so that's something that I wouldn't call her a stay-at-home mom. She works, But, when you're streamlining your process of selling something, how important good-looking pictures are, that's what she wants to get. That's what she wants to invest her time in, is learning how just to take pictures of these products and send them to her Etsy page. That way she can sell it a little bit easier. But, yeah. So that's what I'm putting together a little package for her just to show her how all that kind of stuff works.
Right.
And then, but, yeah.
So, last year I didn't take, usually every year I take a family picture with my family. And last year we didn't get it done, which is terrible because it was the first year Max was with us. And so I'm trying to think about my family picture right around now so I can have him out in time for Christmas cards. And we went to the Renaissance Festival a couple of weeks ago. And I love the gardens and stuff out there. So if it's not raining, we're going to go this weekend. And I told my husband that I wanted to do our family picture out there, and he kind of laughed at me at first. But it's so pretty. Like, their gardens and everything that they have are gorgeous. So I'm trying to plan out in my head wardrobe and where out there if nobody, like, we could find a little gap where nobody's standing there and do some pictures.
Just do impromptu.
Well, then, if you do a picture and you don't see, the thousands of other people around you, people will be like, oh, that's so pretty. Where'd you do that? And I'll just say, oh, that was private property.
I mean, no, it really is. I think what the neatest thing, and I'm glad we're talking about this, because when the family friend reached out to me, like, hey, do you mind shooting for us? Because she knows she didn't have to pay me. And I said, basically, I just want to hang out with her husband because he's one of my best friends. So it's like, hey, you take care of those kids while I get to hang out with one of my best friends. And she agreed to it, but I go, send me some pictures of what you're looking for, because I need to know if we're shooting outside, like what do I need to bring lighting-wise, or any reflectors or anything like that. And she sent me some pictures that they could have been outside behind a house, and they were heavily edited. And I told her, I was like, oh, that's going to take 10 minutes. And I know where they live, and I was like, you just find a park and we'll go shoot either in the morning or what's nice about the daylight savings time is it's not too late for the children when it becomes the afternoon, and you can get the golden hour almost again, probably like 5:30, 5 o'clock. And I was like, but these are really edited though, right? Like this, you can tell by the reds and the oranges.
Yeah, high saturation.
Yeah, because they want to have that autumn feel to it. And I was like, these people, but. But I want to say something that was really interesting. I found out doing research for lighting setup, and one thing I was looking for is a lighting set was flexible with the light, so I can exchange the light bulbs for different types of light bulbs, because you can get different types of glows. And one thing I learned, I didn't know, incandescent light bulbs are banned in the United States. I never knew that, and I didn't know it was that big of a deal, because a lot of the research I'm reading about do your own kits, they still talk about incandescent lighting. And I was like, oh, where can you find these things? And it's like, you can't find them. Nowhere. And I was like, so these guys are like on the underground black market looking for incandescent lighting so they can do lighting with their photography. But it's just funny because a lot of people use those type of light bulbs back. This some of the YouTube videos, some of the kits people make, they're probably 10 years old. But it's just really funny because I was like, oh, I guess people are real serious about their energy saving and usage. They get rid of these light bulbs that every photographer used. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Just to let you guys know, incandescent light bulbs, you can't find them. If you do, you're having illegal material. I'm just kidding. You just can't manufacture them anymore. But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But and there's also a lot of cool stuff out there for do-it-yourself lighting kits, especially your needs and things like that. So there's a good online presence. If you have questions, just go online, type in lighting kit. And then I stumbled upon some forums, and some people make fun of you, and some people try to help you, which is nice. But yeah, don't buy those cheap kits online, apparently. That's what everyone says.
No.
Don't buy those cheap kits.
Don't buy those made in China stuff. Worthless.
Well, what's funny is one of my friends has one of those setups, and I went to go see it. And it's not bad. Like, for what it is, it's not bad at all. And the only thing I can think of is you just put a lot of sandbags on it because it's light. So if anybody, like I'm talking like you pull a cord against it, it might trip it. So just get sandbags, and like it lit everything really well. And I don't know how long the fuse is going to last, or the box is going to last. But, I mean, it looked like any other standard lighting kit, but the stand itself was like a feather. And
I had... when I very first started out, I got one of those cheap sets, and I used it to practice for a while, and I ended up donating it to Goodwill or something, I think. But
well, you got to start somewhere. And in my mind, and this is so crazy about the camera world, is the price jump between amateur goods and professional goods. So you can get a softbox out there. You can get 3 softboxes right now, China goods, for about $150. Probably that's the lowest you're going to find. It comes with a stand, it comes with a 5-bulb light softbox, and it comes with 3 of them. But if you go to the professional grade, you're going to be spending $200 minimum for one.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. And I was kind of like, well, and the worst thing about those is you don't have as many. You don't have 5 sockets. Basically, you have one type of light bulb, and it's a professional light bulb. So that's going to cost you even more money. It's like buying a Mercedes. You have to pay for the maintenance. It's going to be ridiculous. Yeah. But
I think my lights, the lights alone, not even the boxes or anything, were like $800 a piece. Maybe?
So I mean, and as you are a professional and I am an amateur, to me, I'm just like whatever works. And I found people to just go to get outdoor lamps and basically just buy the bigger dish.
You know the interview that we had with Brian DeMint?
Yeah, he knows. That guy, I should talk to him.
Because if you watch his tutorials, he uses heat lamps pretty much, like just those little
I don't know how that makeup's not just draining off those women.
I don't know, but it's so funny watching his videos because he holds his camera with one hand and the other hand he's holding like just a cheap light that you get from Home Depot because he doesn't really care about the color because he adjusts his color so much post-processing. He just needs to light the face somehow. But yeah, you can definitely make do with something if you know what you're doing. But I enjoy my professional lights a lot.
Oh, I bet you do. But no, that's what I've been practicing with, especially shooting kids and stuff. Because the one thing that I think the softboxes really offer, opposed to just those standard lights you get from Home Depot, those lights are so hot. And especially if your subjects are getting close to them, there's no way you're going to be able to get your photo if you're shooting kids. Yeah. And the softboxes, really what that does is just it makes your job a little easier, but it doesn't make it as like easy as having a better light. Yeah. But it's just enough to where you'll compensate in post and things like that. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been researching. Yeah. That's about it, yeah. How about you? What you been doing?
I had been doing a lot of processing on a wedding, and I finally got the album finished. And to me, it's I don't know, it's really kind of like I put everything into this, and so I'm about ready to deliver the album, and I'm like, I would be like, do you like it? Do you really like it? Tell me you like it. Because I put so much time and energy into making it perfect that I don't know. It means a lot to me. I like knowing that I'm going to be a part of that for the rest of their life.
That's why you need to include a big old profile picture at the end of the book of you. I think that would be great.
That would be funny. I just put a little foil stamp of my name at the end. That was it. But I could also give them a stack of business cards to pass out to their friends as they look at the album. Share this with people. I don't know how well that would go over. Anyway, so you want to take a short break and then we can talk to Reagan from the Houston Camera Exchange? So stay with us and we'll be back with Reagan.
Heaven's Army of Resources and Recreation Center is a 501c3 nonprofit organization featuring a 10,000 square foot building located at 19325 FM 1485 West, New Caney, Texas. At Heaven's Army, we offer over 26 different services free for all ages, from karate, dance, drug and alcohol classes, anger management, parenting, food and clothing pantries, to just name a few. We are supported solely by volunteers and private donations. Our main mission is to glorify God in all that we do. At Heaven's Army, we strive to be a hand up, not a handout. Come check us out at 19325 FM 1485 West, New Caney, Texas, or call for more information at 281-689-5864. You may also learn more about Heaven's Army by visiting our website at heavensarmyofresources.com.
Howdy, howdy, folks. Cable Smith, host of the Lone Star Outdoors Show, inviting you to join me Saturday mornings from 7 to 8 on Lone Star Internet Radio for Texas' premier hunting, fishing, and outdoor talk show. So pour yourself another cup of coffee and pull up that stool a little closer to the old campfire, because if you can catch it or kill it in Texas, we're going to talk about it. That's right. Bucks and ducks, gobblers, monster bass, redfish, trout, and a whole lot more. Plus, you never know what outdoor celebrity is going to drop by, from Phil the Duck Commander Robertson to fishing legend Bill Dance or everybody's favorite uncle Ted Nugent. Heck, we might even mix in an interview and hear some brand spanking new Texas music from one of your favorite Texas musicians like Robert Earl Keen, Brandon Ryder, or the honky-tonk kid himself, Aaron Watson. Loved or hated but never ignored, it's the Lone Star Outdoors Show with me, Cable Smith, Saturday mornings from 7 to 8 right here on Lone Star Internet Radio on irlonestar.com.
Did you know there are more than 790 abused and neglected children currently in foster care in Montgomery County? Will you help make a difference? I'm Allie Stevens with Casa Child Advocates of Montgomery County. We train and support volunteers to be the voice of children in the foster care system. Kids removed from their home because of abuse and neglect, and we need volunteers just like you to advocate for these children. To learn more about becoming an advocate, please visit CasaSpeaksForKids.com. That's CasaSpeaksForKids.com.
Welcome back to Aperture and Shutter Speed, the photography radio show on irlonestar.com. I am here with Reagan, who works the Houston Camera Exchange, and he's also been a photographer for over 40 years with a lot of experience. So welcome, Reagan.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi there, Chelsea.
Well, I'm glad you could take time to be with us today, and I
Sure.
just had some questions for you. First off, one thing I like to ask everybody is how you originally got interested or started in photography.
Well, started with my parents. They gave me a Polaroid Swinger when I was about 11, and I just got captivated by it and started doing the usual stuff, mowing yards, anything to earn money to buy film with. And then when I got into high school, I was majoring in art, but then a friend of mine exposed me to 35 millimeter cameras, and that's when I really fell in love. And it just progressed from there.
I think that's wonderful when people can start really young and really have the passion for it. So over the years, as you've developed as a photographer, what do you think your style is, or how would you label yourself as a photographer?
Well, in my earlier years, I considered myself a photojournalist, but more, I guess you'd really classify me as a documentary photographer. I just love the history of people and of places. And I just had a ball photographing anything and everything.
I know, when photography really came about as art, there were a lot of famous photographers who did have a journalistic or, as you say, documentary style. Are there any of those photographers that really kind of stuck out as something you would emulate?
Well, of course, I fell in love with Ansel Adams and the way he photographed nature. And then I got exposed to close-up photography just when I got out of college and discovered so many rare and beautiful things you could see with a macro lens that really just captivated me to the ultimate. That's why still one of my passions still today is macro photography. I love to take pictures of bugs and flowers and all kind of moving other things.
I really love macro too, because it kind of opens you up to a whole new world that you didn't see before, but it's there.
Oh, yes.
It's absolutely beautiful. So
Yep.
You fell in love with photography at a very young age and kept growing. How did your love and passion ended up turning into a career?
Well, it was kind of a chance meeting. I had I had done some work. I really didn't do a whole lot of work for my high school when I was in high school, but I happened to meet a friend of mine. Well, actually, he was the older brother of a friend of mine, and he needed some photography done, and I just said, well, I can do that. So I did it, and then it ended up getting more and more frequent, and then pretty soon I started working for him. And it was, a lot of people would think it was kind of a boring job, but I tell you, for almost 3 years, I drove around Harris County and Montgomery County taking pictures of MLS listings.
I mean, people do that now, so I don't think that's boring at all.
Oh, yeah. But it was fun because I got to learn Harris County and even a little bit of Fort Bend and Montgomery County, and I just had a ball taking, because what was, back then there was, a few of the, I guess you call the upper scale neighborhoods, they'd want pictures indoors and outdoors, and I got pretty proficient at doing indoor photography too at the same time, and it was just fun. And then I started making, it was kind of a taxing job because I only worked, I guess 3.5 days a week. But boy, you ran from daylight to sundown every day.
Yeah, I get that. So I know that you have said before that you worked for the Houston Post at one time.
Yes.
So how did you evolve from kind of photography work, sounds like where you could, and to a real solid job with the Houston Post?
Was another thing. It was a friend of a friend introduced me to one of the photographers for the Post, and I helped him once, and then he just out of the blue called me one day. He says, Reagan, he said, this is kind of it's really not a photojournalistic job, but he said the Post needs an advertising photographer to go around to these places that put ads in the paper. And I thought, okay, so I went there and got the job, and I started working there, and then I'd been working for the paper for about 6 months, and then all of a sudden one day they had put a radio in my car, and I get a phone call from the city editor saying, hey, there was a homicide we just found out about that's right across the street from where you are. And I thought, okay. So I go there, and I got there before the police did.
Oh, wow.
And it was amazing. It was the first time that I tossed my cookies, because I go over there, and there was a woman who had been beheaded, and her body was left in front of her apartment door.
Oh, gosh.
And when I saw that, I tossed my cookies. And but as it evolved, as the more I got into it, I got to doing more and more photojournalistic stuff, but I still did the advertising. That was my main goal there for the Post. But I did maybe 40% photojournalistic work at the end of the spree, and then finally after 10 years, you just get tired of the day and day grind, and I just said, bye folks, I'm out of here.
And so you made a huge leap to retail. Did
yeah,
you go
that's when I
straight
moved to retail. And at first I didn't like it. I just did it. Well, a lot of unusual things had happened in my life. But then I got to the point where I had a lot of knowledge of photography, and a lot of my friends who were or even people that I knew, they were starting to get into photography just to take pictures of their kids. and I'd go over and school them how to use their cameras. And I was sitting, and it just got to be fun doing that. So then that's when retail kind of took over my life. And it's been a lot of fun, especially here at the Houston Camera Exchange.
So what is the main thing that you do for the Houston Camera Exchange? What is your job exactly?
Well, my job now, since I'm getting older, my mobility is a little, I'm not able to get around as fast and as quick as I used to be. I took a position, I guess it's been almost 2.5 years ago. I'm the buyer because what really made our company was we let people trade in their old cameras towards a new one.
Mm-hmm.
And when they come in, the salesperson will, or sometimes I'll even go out on the floor and I'll help the folks, and they'll say, I need to trade this in. And I'll say, well, it depends how much money do you want for it, and it all depends on the condition of the camera. And they'll say, well, it's in perfect condition. You say, okay. Then you look at it and you think, well, if this is perfect, I'd hate to see one that's used. But, it's, a lot of people, they think something's really good. And, well, it's just like this morning, a guy came in with an old Minolta SRT 101, and he said it was in perfect condition. Well, it wasn't. The meter didn't work. It needed light seals, and the shutter was jammed. And it's kind of like, okay, there's some things you can buy and there's some things you can't.
Yeah.
But it all depends on how things go.
Well, I guess that explains the name of Houston Camera Exchange, since that's what people are doing. They're exchanging their cameras. Oh,
yeah. Yes, ma'am, yeah.
In fact, I'm sorry, keep going.
It was just like yesterday. We had a gentleman, 6 months ago, he had bought some of the top-of-the-line Nikon stuff. Well, he got into it, then he decided after 6 months he didn't really want to do it anymore. So he brought it back, and we bought it back from him. So,
if you'll stay with us just a minute, I'd like to hear a lot more about what the Houston Camera Exchange offers and kind of some other services y'all do.
Sure.
Stick with us. We're going to have a quick break, and we'll hear more here on Aperture and Shutter Speed.
All right.
The Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service has been dedicated to educating Texans for over a century. In 1915, the Extension Program was established under the federal Smith-Lever Act to deliver university knowledge and agricultural research findings directly to the people. Ever since, AgriLife Extension programs have addressed the emerging issues of the day, serving diverse populations across the state. Texans turn to Extension for solutions in horticulture, agriculture, 4-H and youth, and family and consumer sciences. Extension agents respond not only with answers, but also with resources and services that result in significant returns on investment to boost the economy. Join us Fridays at 1 o'clock for the AgriLife Extension Hour.
The Conroe YMCA's benchmark adaptive programming for kids and adults is Leap of Faith. Leap of Faith is an equine-assisted therapy program serving children and adults with adaptive needs. The riders in our Leap of Faith program are working to address and manage specific aspects of their lives impacted by illness, injury, or disability. The Leap of Faith program has experience working with riders who are living with attention deficit or other hyperactivity disorders, hearing impairments, visual impairments, developmental delays or disabilities, autism, Down syndrome, multiple sclerosis, muscular dystrophy, head traumas, brain injuries, and paralysis. Our program uses horseback riding to develop self-confidence and self-esteem, to increase upper and lower body strength, assist in respiratory issues, and establish a trusting relationship between the rider and their horse. Not only do these activities aid in the physical and mental development of the rider, but they also foster self-reliance and independence. For more information regarding our program, to become a rider, or to volunteer with a great group of people, please call our Welcome Center at 936-441-5655
9622 or visit our website at www.ymcahouston.org/Conroe.
Hello, Montgomery County. I'm Rachel Baldwin with Special Olympics Texas, Area 6. Are you a fan of courage? Are you a fan of determination? Are you a fan of acceptance, grace, and skill? Then you're already a fan of Special Olympics. Make it official. Volunteer, coach, and or compete and be a fan of dignity and acceptance. The dedication of our Special Olympics Texas volunteers provides mainstreaming experiences for athletes with intellectual disabilities. You will touch the heart of another person, and it will move you in a meaningful way that lifts the spirit. Please visit the Heart of East Texas Area 6 webpage at www.sotx.org. Also, like us on Facebook to be a fan and be part of Special Olympics Texas.
I'm Lieutenant Bob Berry with the Conroe Police Department, reminding you that texting and talking on the phone while driving are not only dangerous, but also illegal in school zones and other posted areas. Drive safely and alert.
Welcome back to Aperture and Shutter Speed. This is the photography radio show where we learn all about photography. I'm Chelsea, here with Dick Schissler, and we've been interviewing Reagan from the Houston Camera Exchange. Before the break, he was telling us all about himself and how the Houston Camera Exchange trades cameras and stuff like that. So I think we wanted to know a little bit more about trading cameras. I think Dick had some questions on how to get the best value for your camera.
Well, I think a conversation every time I have an opportunity, or have an opportunity for a conversation like this, is Regan's been shooting for so long, and he was there for the transition between film and digital. And film's still alive today in different areas. Right. But I know as an equipment person, because most people who are interested in photography got to start with their own camera, first camera, and things like that. They always remember their first camera. And then they all realize, oh man, you mean the top of the line is going to cost me $10,000 to get a camera? But one thing is, I want to take this opportunity to ask you, Regan, because you deal with people, different people's positions when they get new equipment, buy new equipment, sell new equipment. Is the quality of the product in film cameras today, the value in it, is so much different into the digital world, because the digital world seems to be multiplying. I guess the quality of product's been multiplying. Like every year, something better comes out and leaving everything behind. So those who are buying cameras today, when it comes down to the body of the camera, what do you suggest people do?
Well, if somebody wants to get into film cameras still, there's almost only, I hate to say, one choice, and it's Nikon. Nikon has always made their cameras out of metal. And let me tell you, for a film camera, that is almost a necessity. Canon, when they got into the EOS line in the late 80s and all through the 90s, their Rebels, they were all made out of plastic. And the problem with it, they're lighter, they're easier to carry around, but the problem with it is, especially in this town, in the hot summer months, you leave your camera in the back of your car and it gets to be 140 degrees inside of your camera. Well, that will melt the plastic solenoid on the shutter mechanism. And the next thing you know, your camera is gone. It's crap. And sure, you can repair it, but it's kind of like, That's what I don't like about Canon and a lot of the other folks around. But in terms of digital, if you're going to go digital, I would say if you just want to try it out, you'd be better off to come visit us and buy maybe a year or 2-year-old Canon or Nikon or even a Sony digital camera and just see if you like it. Because the one thing I like to always preface the beginning in digital to folks is, okay, you take the picture, but what do you do after the fact? You've got to spend at least a few minutes in front of the computer screen to maximize your picture. Used to, you just take the film, take it to Walgreens, wherever, and get your film developed, and you get your prints back. Say, whoopie-doo-dah, we did good. But now you have to do some work on your end. You and your computer are now the Walgreens, and then you have to send the file to have it printed later. Or, as with most of the new folks, they're all just showing their stuff on their iPhone or their iPads to folks. But me, I'm still old school. I want to see a print.
Yes.
That's how I work.
And you know what? Prints always look so much different, so much better to me. And I find it frustrating sometimes because when I get a really nice print in the mail or something, I'll show my husband, and he'll be like, "I've seen that." And I'm like, "No, you only saw it on the digital. This is the print. This is the beautiful print."
This is the print part. Yeah.
I'm all about the prints.
Prints to me make all the difference in the world.
They do.
Yeah, I don't mind seeing stuff on your phone or on your iPad, but boy, if you really want to impress me, come show me a 16 by 20 canvas print of it.
Yeah.
Then I'll really drop my jaw for it. Yep.
But you're right in the fact that, now with digital photography, it's not only just taking the pictures. You have to have some knowledge of post-processing. And,
Yes.
I've always said you can't take a bad picture and make it good in Photoshop, but you do want to be able to enhance it and bring the best parts out, I guess.
Oh, yes.
So that is a big part of it now. I don't know.
Yep.
My first camera that I ever had was a Pentax, and it was a film camera. And I used that camera, for over 10 years, and then I finally went and got myself a digital camera. But
yep.
I was one of those people that was thinking, digital's going to ruin everything. And eventually you have to embrace it.
Yep. Yeah, I remember back in, I left the post, oh boy. Well, anyway, but I remember it was 1993. I was still a member of the National Press Photographers Association, and I went to a meeting that they had up in Fort Worth, and I met it was Mark Hamburg and another guy who had just sold their software to Adobe, which became Photoshop the next year.
Mm-hmm.
And they got me so excited about digital, I came home and borrowed, sold, and I bought my first film scanner. And I knew digital was going to take over. I could just see the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
And that was in 1994.
Well, you were ahead of the game, I think.
Yep. Oh, yeah, I was way ahead. And then, thankfully, my grandmother on my mother's side, she died in 2000, and she left a little bit of money to my mom. Well, my mama, as gracious as she was, she gave me some money. She said, "Go buy yourself that digital camera you've been wanting for so long." I said, "You're kidding." She said, "Nope." So I was able to get a Nikon D1.
Wow.
I think it was 2001, and
Yeah.
I just been going ever since digital.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So I think you had a good recommendation of somebody who's getting into it. You don't need the biggest and the best if you're just starting out. I think a lot of people feel.
Oh, no.
I feel like a lot of people think they want to get out and get the best thing, but some of those cameras are more made for, if you're shooting sports or something, and if you're just taking pictures of your kids, you don't necessarily need all that.
True.
What do you, how do you recommend to people when they come in to buy a camera, whether or not they should get, something new and has all the gadgets on it? Do most people know what they want when they come in, or do you have to kind of help them out with that?
Well, sometimes, they'll come in and they say, "Well, I saw this wonderful review online, and I'm convinced this is what I want." We say, "Okay, we'll just take the money, let them have it." But then a lot of folks come see us and they say, "I need some help. Do I really need to spend $2,000 to get the camera body that I need?" We'll say, "No." I said, "What are you going to be doing with it?" And they say, "I'm just taking casual pictures." And I'm saying, "Well, folks, get started with maybe one of the Canon Rebels or one of the the smaller Nikon D3200s or something like that. I said, you don't have to spend that kind of money. In fact, frankly, I've almost abandoned the 35 millimeter format digital. I've been shooting micro four thirds cameras now for over 3 years, and I am having a ball. I love the Olympus and the Panasonic cameras personally.
Really?
Yeah, they've got some incredible value, and they're about the beauty part about them. They're about 1/3 the size and 1/3 the weight of a comparable Canon or Nikon. And that's why I love those. But it's just back to personal preference.
Right.
You got to say, okay, I want to do this, and so forth. You know, like a lady, it was like we had a lady came in Saturday. She said, I want to take pictures of my girls. She plays volleyball. I said, well, that's a lot of quick action. I said, you're going to be in usually low light indoor gymnasiums. You're going to need a camera that can shoot in low light. I said, you got a couple of choices, some from Nikon and some from Canon. And she ended up she spent over $2,000 with us, but she knew exactly what she wanted, and she wanted some recommendations, and we gave them to her.
Yeah.
That's the thing that kind of separates us from Best Buy and all the other stores. We want to help our customer make an intelligent decision.
Yeah.
First, and then after the fact, I'm sure that in maybe a couple of weeks, she'll be back in and she'll need some more help. And that's what we're here for. We want to help you after we make the sale.
Well, I love it that there's actually experienced photographers working there, because when you go to Best Buy, it is just, college kids who are literally just reading the card that is attached to the camera, telling you what's on it. So really, you could do that yourself. There's no help at all. And not that I'm slamming Best Buy, because you can get cameras there too, but just the fact that y'all have the experienced photographers who can actually answer questions, I think that's a huge value.
Well, and also the photography world and video world, like I guess buying used equipment isn't frowned upon. It's something that people even exchange things. It's like, oh, I have a 40 millimeter and you have a 50 millimeter. Let's trade straight up.
Yep.
And that's something that a lot of other industries don't have, and it's interesting to see, especially if somebody's trying to convert from a Nikon to a Canon. It's really you can be fortunate enough not to spend any money, and just find somebody on like suspicious enough as Craigslist, but like Houston Camera Exchange, that's a great place to start to see where people are going, especially where they're bringing their equipment. One thing I wanted to talk about before we have to go to break is when people are buying camera equipment, there's a gray market. People don't really know what that means. When you go online, you'll see, why is this thing, like I go to Houston Camera Exchange and it's $500 more here than online that I found at some suspicious website. But if you don't mind, Reagan, just explain that to some people, like especially when they're encountering the price fluxes when it comes down to buying photo equipment.
Sure. Well, the thing is, gray market, it's like Nikon or Canon or Sony or whoever. They make cameras for sale in the USA, and they also make a different model that they sell in Europe, in the other parts of the world. And that's where you get gray market from, generally, which means you could buy a gray market camera. You get you buy a Canon, a 700, which in today's market here in the U.S., it's called a Rebel T5i. All right. Here, you're probably talking, $600-700 for just a body. You're saying, well, hey, they've got this thing priced for $300. Okay. You buy it, then it starts misbehaving when you get it, and you're thinking, what do I do? Well, you send it to Canon. Canon will send it right back to you saying, this is gray market. We cannot fix this here in the U.S. This has to go back overseas. And there goes your great deal down the tubes.
Yeah. I think in
general... So
you
have to be careful.
I think in general, if you look online and you're like, hey, that's a really amazingly good deal, I think you should step back and really look at it, because most of the manufacturers have their prices set in the U.S. So if you see something that's too good to be true, it probably is.
Yep. I'll never forget. It's been 10 years ago. I had a lady in here, and she was beating us. She was beating me up because she said, well, I can buy this for $200 less online. And I said, well, lady, this is our price. If you don't like it, go buy it online. What was funny, or it was kind of funny at the time, I had a gentleman right behind her who I had already talked to an hour earlier. He was in to buy some cameras. Well, anyway, my friend, he tapped her on the shoulder. He says, lady, I dare you. He says, here's $5. You go buy it online and come tell me how you did later. Well, she did. She got upset, but she left. Well, a week later, she comes in with her head between her legs. She says, okay, you're right. I bought the camera. I got the camera, but I didn't get a battery. I didn't get a charger. I didn't get this. And I'm sitting going, well, what happened? She said, well, I've got it in dispute now with my Visa card. I'm trying to send it back, but they won't take it back. So I said, just be careful when you're shopping online.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, well, we're going to take one more break. If you'll stick with us, we're here with Regan on Aperture and Shutter Speed.
Our community's animal shelters cannot absorb accidental litters of kittens and puppies. Approximately 80% of the animals entering our shelters will not make it out alive. Please help be a part of the solution. Please spay and neuter your pets. Many low-cost options are available. Visit texaslittercontrol.org to learn more. That's texaslittercontrol.org. And remember, real Texans don't litter. Please spay and neuter your pets.
Tune in to Chamber Chat with your host, Courtney Galley and Samantha Good, with the Conroe Lake Conroe Chamber of Commerce, every first Tuesday of the month at 11 a.m. I'm one of your hosts, Courtney Galley. Samantha and I will chat about the Conroe Chamber's upcoming events and programs for the month. Relax with a cup of joe or your favorite drink for Chamber Chat. Heaven's Army of Resources and Recreation Center is a 501c3 nonprofit organization featuring a 10,000 square foot building located at 19325 FM 1485 West, New Caney, Texas. At Heaven's Army, we offer over 26 different services free for all ages, from karate, dance, drug and alcohol classes, anger management, parenting, food and clothing pantries, to just name a few. We are supported solely by volunteers and private donations. Our main mission is to glorify God in all that we do. At Heaven's Army, to be a hand up, not a handout. Come check us out at 19325 FM 1485 West, New Caney, Texas, or call for more information at 281-689-5864. You may also learn more about Heaven's Army by visiting our website at heavensarmyofresources.com.
Are you interested in learning more about preparing quick, healthy, and safe meals for your family? Would you like to spend time with others learning tips and tricks, along with practicing and tasting nutritious food? If so, the On the Road to Healthy Living Mobile Cooking School is for you. Call Amy Ressler at Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service at 936-539-7825 to find a class near you or volunteer to host a class.
Welcome back to Aperture and Shutter Speed. We have been talking to Regan from the Houston Camera Exchange. He's told us all the reasons that it's good to talk to professionals at the Houston Camera Exchange about what you need. And Regan, what's coming up at the Houston Camera Exchange that listeners can take advantage of?
Well, this weekend, yeah. We've got Thanksgiving. There's going to be a special flyer, I think, in the Houston Chronicle, and there's going to be special pricing on Black Friday, and then the other event that we have coming up is Saturday. It's called Small Business Saturday. That's sponsored by American Express, and they give people who I think they have to register or something. They give them an extra break if they spend money in our store. I've always been a big plus for us the past few years, and I really love promoting that for us.
Absolutely. Can you give us some idea on some things we should be looking to get a special price on Friday?
There's going to be some of the middle to lower end Nikons and Canons that I think are going to be priced for just under $400 for a digital SLR, brand new, which is kind of incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know all the particulars yet, but to me, used to be digital cameras. They started at about $1,000. Now you're gonna be able to walk out with one for $400. It's kind of amazing to me.
Yeah, that's incredible. And if somebody wanted to get it, for Christmas or somebody they know, that's a great price to start at, especially for somebody who just is getting into it.
Yep.
And tell me again, what's the website for the Houston Camera Exchange so people can check it out?
Our website is called hcehouston.com. And I highly recommend anybody that's listening, go to our website and sign up for our emails and get on our email list because, at this time of the year, we don't have very many classes because we're mainly just trying to support our people, the people coming in to buy stuff. But when it gets slower next year in January and February, we're going to start back up classes that we'll have sponsored by Sony, Nikon, Canon, and Olympus, Panasonic, whoever. They'll come in, they'll send a rep in, we'll have a class in the evening, or sometimes we'll just have a special event in the store, which is like the past 2.5 weeks. We had if you came in and saw a demo on the Panasonic cameras, you were able to sign up in a raffle to get a 50-inch 4K TV. Well, the lady just came in and picked up her TV just about 30 minutes ago, and she was so excited.
Oh, I'm sure. And
in fact, we had to help her take it to her house because her car couldn't hold it.
Oh gosh.
But that's okay. We love to help the customers.
Well, it sounds like you're really community involved, and I've noticed that you have a really active Facebook page, and y'all do giveaways on Facebook sometimes. So I definitely encourage everybody to check out the Houston Camera Exchange Facebook page. I just thought that was really neat when I got on there and saw how active y'all were.
Thank you.
I absolutely just want to thank you for being with us, taking time out to talk to us today, and everybody can learn a little more.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
I appreciate it. On our next show will be December 8th, and we're going to be interviewing Ellen O'Reilly. She does photography, and she's had a few things up at the Conroe Art League. That's how I met her, a fellow photographer. So listen next time, Aperture and Shutter Speed, on irlonestar.com, and check us out on Facebook. Keep on shooting.
All right.